Welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, W-I-Z-E. My next guest is an author, a coach, an expert in conflict resolution, energy shift, and an EFT tapping, and EFT tapping. Welcome to the show, Melanie Yates. Hello.
Hey there. So
Hi.
good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So I'm excited. Let's get into this. So what inspired you to start working with body language and EFT tapping to help people transform their lives?
Well, like anything, I had my own experience with life and pain and struggle and relationships. And so I've just been a seeker of good information and how I can continue to grow and get better and attract better things. And so that's really what it was. It was pain that that had me searching for something different. And I found that body language, there's so many great things about body language, and it's so simple. Like even children or teenagers can catch on that body language can actually help our brain affirm quicker than just saying something. If we actually use our tone and our body language, our our brain, there's more places in our brain that are actually engaged, which can get us quicker results, which I know we're all into that immediate gratification, and some of us hate to wait for the results. And so this is just one little trick I've learned along the way, that body language helps your mind. It kind of turns on other senses and neural pathways in your mind to help you get where you really want to get faster.
Okay. Can you explain how energy shifts in the body impact our mindset and behavior?
Yeah, so EFT is something, emotion freedom technique.
Okay.
That is a way to kind of shift energy. So when I think of a thought, so all of us, uh, not to blame anything on our childhood, but we are told certain things, and because of the way we're raised or the uh, surroundings,
Limited beliefs that people instill in us. Yeah.
yeah, we get stuck with these beliefs and this pattern, and even expectations of how things are supposed to be. And so what what helps when we're trying to change things, or trying to get different results than we currently have, is to go back and take a look at a limiting belief. One that comes up for me all the time is that I'm not enough, that I don't do enough, that I don't have enough. And that kind of gives that, when we're like the fear of missing out. You might see something on social media and you feel like, well, I don't have that. And there's this like thought pattern that starts, um, you know, kind of being repeated over and over, that if I don't have what those people have, then I'm not enough. People aren't going to like me. I'm missing out on something. And it leaves us with this like empty feeling. And so tapping is a way to kind of shift the way I think about something, because I can get so stuck in believing this is just the way it is, that I need to kind of shake up my mind a little bit. I need to shake up the energy a little bit so that I can shift towards another way. And so when I'm talking about shifting energy, it's just opening my mind. And sometimes it's not as big of a shift as you think it needs to be, to just open ourselves to just another direction. I find that working with the clients and even just friends and family members, like we kind of back ourselves into a corner. You know how if you've ever backed a cat into a corner, they like lash out. Like they get so scared and terrified that, they might scratch you, they might bite you, they might jump. And I feel like sometimes that happens if we get backed in a corner, and then our behaviors are like a terrified cat. We like, we scratch, we bite, we leap out at people because we're backed in a corner. It feels like I don't have a choice. But if anyone hears anything today, I hope that they hear there are choices, and there is a way to shift that energy from being stuck to really thriving and surviving in your life.
So how can someone stuck in a cycle of negative emotions begin to implement the skill of acceptance?
Well, I would hope that you stop doing it alone. I think so many times we uh, are doing it by ourselves. We personally are trying to figure it out. And you if you look around and you don't like the circumstance that you're in, it's it's because your own thinking and belief patterns got you there. So how are you going to get out if you're where you are with your beliefs and thought patterns? Like, how are you going to get out of that? Like, you need something new. And one of my favorite concepts is a life of consultation, meaning that I don't try to figure anything out by myself anymore. I have people that I respect and I admire and I look up to, and it wasn't always like that for me. One of the reasons I believe so much in this is because for a long time, into my adulthood, I thought I was smart enough and had enough, willpower and, uh, to do it on myself, to figure it out. Like I had a lot of ambition. And the problem is, I even got into, you know, drinking, and, that I think kind of helped the delusion that I know what's going on and I know how to fix it. It also helped me just isolate and even ignore that there was something going wrong. And when I remember back to that time, I literally didn't believe in people. I literally didn't believe that other people could help me or knew how to help me or understood where I was coming from. So I don't know if there's anybody else out there that thinks this way, but it was kind of like there's no one there. Like there's no one there to help me. I have to pull my own bootstraps up and figure it out. Like I think some of my early childhood um like my parents were definitely a part of it, but even teachers and other people that played a role in my life really kind of helped me come up with this belief pattern that if I don't do it, no one is going to do it. And maybe even some of those people that I thought were going to be there let me down. And that also validated that no one really cares, or no one is going to be there when I need them. So all I have is me. So stop depending on people, stop trusting people, and just, trust yourself. And that I just can speak from my own experience. It just didn't work out very well. And so today I do not try to figure anything out.
Well,
Um,
because we tend to lie to ourselves. so
Absolutely.
so so even though we know something is wrong, we might just be lying to ourselves and say, no, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's no, when in all actuality there is. And it's this thing that we don't need no one. We do. Like coaches need coaches. Like people, if like for me, I've been able to seek out mentors and coaches that are helping me with whatever issues that I have, because I know I don't know everything. I'm still learning, I'm still developing and growing. And so of course there's people that I seek for advice, that I seek to help mentor me and show me the way, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we don't have the answers to everything.
Absolutely. It makes me think of this thing called a set aside prayer. And, whether you don't have to be religious or anything, it could just be like a positive affirmation. And it helps me humble myself, because so many times, if I can just humble myself and open my mind, and get more honest with myself, this helps me hear what other people have to say. So if the concept is to set aside what I think I know, so I may have a new experience. Because when I say I know, that is closing my mind off. And I heard this great thing today, the arrogance of certainty. So it's arrogant to be certain about something, because no one can know everything. And it also limits us when we say, I know. And it's actually, and I feel like maybe it could just be my own false beliefs, or even in society, that you know that fake it till you make it, and there's all this toxic toxic perfectionism, that even though we'll admit I'm not perfect, I just want everyone to think that I have it together. And I've just also found that that doesn't work for me either, that it's better to not know, because it keeps my mind open, and it keeps me humble to hear what someone else might be doing or achieving, that is different from my own perspective, that could actually help me. And just because I'm willing to be open to listen to someone, doesn't mean I have to do it or agree with it. It's just when I it's just when I think I'm certain and that I know about my way, that that I may be setting myself up for a closed mind. And that keeps me isolated and away from that connection that I'm actually looking for. I remember a time where I didn't look up to anybody. And I really felt in that moment, when I didn't know who I respected or admired, it was a survival mechanism. It was a coping strategy, because I was afraid of getting hurt. So I built these like walls up, that uh, walls of limited beliefs, that I was alone, and it's just not true.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the common misconceptions people have about EFT?
Yeah. Well, EFT is tapping. So if someone
Mhm.
doesn't know what that is, it's tapping on these meridians, like on your eyebrow, on your temple, underneath your eye, kind of by your collarbone, and you just lightly tap. It kind of uses the same. It's the same meridians as acupressure, where again they believe that there could be energy stuck in those meridians. And so by tapping on these pressure points or putting a needle in, it's helping the flow of energy, so that it's not stuck in one place. So it's supposed to be healing. And tapping, people will say, well, that just doesn't work, that's woo woo, that's fantasy, but the interesting thing is, I was in Western medicine for 21 years, and Western medicine does acknowledge that this Eastern medicine, this acupuncture philosophy, has been proven to work. So it's not just hocus pocus. It actually has been proven. And even tapping, there's been many studies that have proven the results that tapping reduces anxiety, and they've proven to do to heal from PTSD events that have happened in your life, and to keep that it's long lasting. It's not like, oh, it kind of calms the brain for a little bit and then it comes back. So I think the misconception is it doesn't work. So sometimes you know, just like when you're changing a mindset, uh repetition, um you know, we get these neural pathways or these belief patterns because we've thought about them over and over and over. So what I love about tapping is it can kind of shift enough to open our mind to build a new belief and thought pattern. Um, and they've just been able to do studies on cortisol where after tapping for just, it doesn't even take that long, for just a couple minutes can reduce cortisol levels, that stress hormone in your bloodstream, by quite a bit. So um, that's what I love about tapping. It's like, we know all these great tools like meditation, like talk therapy, like journaling. We all know these tools, and even then, sometimes people have such high anxiety or high depression or anger and unforgiveness that these other things haven't been able to touch. I've found that tapping can kind of calm the central nervous system enough to allow us to open our mind to something different. And so that's that's why I like tapping.
I have a coworker. She's from China, and when when she has downtime, you see her doing the tapping. She's doing the tapping, and she doing and 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 of course some people find it weird and everything, but I know the purpose of it, so I look at her and I smile, and so yeah, so it's something that I would eventually like to learn. And like you said, it's an Eastern philosophy, so of course people here on the West are looking at it like it's oh man, that's not gonna work, that doesn't work, but who know, they don't know until they try it.
Yeah, and some of us need a gift of desperation. Like
Mhm.
if we've tried it all. I mean, really, when I was introduced to tapping, like I felt like I had even tried acupuncture. Um, I had tried, the therapy route, the psychiatrist route, the yoga route, the exercise route. Like had tried all these different ways, and um, I'm just grateful that this kind of fell into my lap, and I thought I started learning from a coach these different ways of questioning my thoughts, building new ways to look at things through tapping, through visualization, through question patterning, these different ways to use the different senses in our mind to create something new, to get something different than I was experiencing.
Okay, so how does your approach differ from when you're working with couples to resolve conflicts versus individual clients?
Well, my favorite thing is relationships. My favorite thing is to help people find find a true partnership and attract someone that they want to date, as like date for marriage, like date for a partnership for life kind of thing. I love helping marriages And the thing is, I work with people individually. So even I believe in marriage and I want people to come together for marriage, but I really believe that it's what the person is willing to do individually that make a good relationship. And so I work with people individually. If I've known some, I have made an exception every once in a while because I've known both people. And so we've come together just because sometimes, and I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody else, but when I was doing individual therapy for a long time because I wanted to complain about my spouse, right? Um, it wasn't till we actually came together and he told his side of the story that I even had more to go on with what was really going on. Like my perception alone of how the relationship was going wasn't the full truth. And so to go with my spouse and hear his how he saw the relationship was extremely valuable, because I really didn't see that's the way he saw it. And um so sometimes we're fooling ourselves so bad we really can't see what the other person sees. So I think that could be helpful, but mostly just when we work on ourselves, that we don't have any control over the other person. And so I always start with individuals, and it really comes down to what are you looking for? What do you want out of life? And being really specific about what you don't like currently in your situation and what specific results do you want that you believe are going to make you happy. um, I know that no matter what's going on, the way I see myself, the way I perceive my usefulness in the world and my purpose, how I love myself, how my brain perceives I'm doing, has so much to do with whether I'm at peace or not. And so most of the time, I'm always helping guide and direct people towards what does your self-care look like? What does, to me, self-care equals self-love. And what is my relationship with myself? And am I aware of that negative self-talk, those lies that you had mentioned earlier? Um, what do I do to combat that? Because everybody has it. And some people are completely unaware that there's this self-talking, negative, lying, destructive talk that's going on. Um, and to be aware of that and to know what to do when it comes up. I had to train my mind that the way I invested my time, the way I invested even my money had to do with self-love.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people need, that's like where we start. Like, what are you currently doing that your brain knows you love yourself? Can you look in the mirror and say, I love you? Can you look in the mirror and find, 5 things that you love about just your face, you know? Because a lot of us focus on the negative. That's the default. And so that's where I always start is where am I at with, do I love myself? Do I care? Does my brain know that I care and love? And by my actions, by my body language, just if you look at people's body language, that usually you might even be able to guess how much love they have for themselves just by looking at someone's body language. Like, go to a place that has a lot of people. What is their body language as they're walking around looking at things? You know, it's really interesting. We all read body language. It's unconscious. We don't talk about it a lot, but our mind reads um, body language. And so I encourage you to just kind of take a look around at people and watch the way they carry themselves. Watch the way they walk, what they look at. Are their shoulders back? Are they looking down? Do they avoid eye contact? Do they walk in a straight line? Are they in a hurry? Like, all these things have a lot to do with what's going on inside.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I say, self-talk is very important. How you talk to yourself is very important, because there's some of us out here that are just very mean to ourselves. We're very cruel to ourselves. We will be, oh, I'm stupid, or I can't do that, or and that's one of the issues that we have nowadays, is that we just don't know how to talk to ourselves. We will have those limited beliefs where whatever people told us when we was growing up, if they would say mean stuff to us, now they got us believing that, and that's what we're saying to ourselves. And so when we continuously say that, it's just hard for us to get out of that phase. So when you do, like, for me personally, uh I was I was angry at life for a lot of things that was going on in my life, and very self-destructive, self-medication, drinking, and it wasn't until I decided to seek help, to go speak to someone, to start expressing what I was going through, why I was so angry, that life started changing. And so now, yes, I still have those moments I'm still a work in progress. There's things that I'm not happy with myself that I know I need to correct, but I'm working on it. It's I'm like I said, I'm a work in progress, and as long as I continue to work on myself, then I'm happy.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to try to do it by yourself. That's why when I say a life of consultation, it's so important to know, like, who are you listening to? Like, we need accountability outside of ourselves
Mhm.
to run our thoughts and ideas by other people, not only, to see if they're sound, because, like we've mentioned, our mind lies to us. So we want to run it by other people to see, even if it's sound or close to the truth, or that someone else could see that there could be truth to it. But there's also this accountability factor, because I can be working on stuff by myself, and there's nothing to keep me um moving forward, because I'll give myself a break, or I'll self justify, or I'll rationalize that, well, I'm working towards that, but I don't really have, any goals, and I don't have any specifics. And what happens is we find ourselves feeling kind of lost, even though we know we aren't perfect, and we know we want to move towards this way, and we can even see, hey, I've made progress. I'm not there where I was. uh, it's just been my experience. I have to keep um that life of consultation, where I have people in my life that I respect, that I want what they have, that I'm willing to listen and actually get into action with what they suggest. If you want to be like somebody, if you want what they have, like, maybe they have a great relationship with someone, maybe they have more money in their bank account, maybe uh their kids are well behaved. It's like, I need to, and usually there's different people that have those qualities. Like, I know someone that I really, I like the way she takes care of her physical body with the exercise and food sheets. Um, and having different people in my life, like paying for a personal trainer. I have gotten results, and I have done way more with a trainer and investing in a trainer and listening and obeying a trainer and being accountable to that trainer showing up every week, um talking about my goals, and then you know what, he has the gall to ask me how I'm doing on those, and sometimes that like makes me feel bad because it's like, oh well, I don't know, I didn't really do anything this last week towards those goals. And the thing is, I don't give up. I keep coming back and I keep checking in. And that way of living helps me not like fall back on what I did yesterday, or fall, like, rest on my laurels, so to speak. And somebody told me that I can't stay clean on yesterday's shower, meaning I have to keep doing something in the day that I'm in, um, to focus, like to give my mind the GPS directions towards where I want to go, because man, it sucks. You can get out of shape so quick. It just takes like a little meandering, a little wandering, a little being lost to really lose our way, And so that's why, not doing it alone has helped me so much, that, I have people in my life today that I look up to, that have gone before me, that are encouraging me, inspiring me, and checking in with me of like, well, how's that going? Because it's easy to lose perspective, to I don't know, it actually takes quite a bit of work to keep growing and learning and walking through stuff that is uncomfortable. I mean, who wants to be uncomfortable? Like, I like the quick, instant gratification, just like anybody else,
Yeah, but sometimes you have to make yourself uncomfortable. Like you have to make yourself uncomfortable. Like for me, had I not made myself uncomfortable, I would have never started the podcast because I was always making excuses. I would tell myself, "Oh, I suck. My voice sounds horrible. Who wants to listen? Who's going to want to listen to me? What topics?" It was just a lot of self-talk, and it was negative. And if it wasn't for the fact that I finally said, "You know what? Screw that. I'm not going to continue to listen to negative me. I'm going to press record, make myself feel uncomfortable, and just do it." And so that's exactly what I did, and that's the only way I got to where I'm at now. I wasn't in media. I wasn't in radio. I wasn't in radio. I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't have a clue. It took me actually doing it and wanting to learn and improve to the point where I'm at now. I didn't have these interview skills. I didn't know how to interview people. I didn't know what it took me doing it and continuously doing it and improving on it to get to where I'm at now. And I'm still improving. I still have things to learn. I still things for me to do to take me to the next level. But if I don't do it, how would I ever learn it? How do I expect myself to be better at something if I don't do it? So just like, yes, this person is at a certain level, I can't expect myself to be at that level if I haven't done it as much as they have.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you have persevered and that you've been doing this podcast, and you're making a difference. And I think all of us, you know, need some kind of purpose and
Mhm.
direction. And it feels so good to be giving something back to other people and learning from other people. And so I just really want to thank you and say how much I appreciate this podcast in particular, to and the listeners that are growing and willing to keep coming back and learning something new and being open, because half of it is that I have to keep my mind open to let and even create space to hear new things. And
Mhm.
so I just appreciate that you're looking for people that can make a difference, and you're being the conduit to making that happen. So thank you.
Oh, oh no, it's for me. It's been an amazing journey. I, I still remember when I first started podcasting, and I probably had like a few downloads, right? And and as of today, I probably got like 35,000 downloads as far as my audio podcast goes. A- And I remember like for my first few months, I probably had like a couple of hundred, like, and so at year 4 now to be over 35,000 down, to me is amazing. And that's just me being consistent and me wanting to improve, me investing in myself, me taking investing in myself, taking courses, um, picking the brain of people who've done this for years, who have the experience. It's just me wanting to improve. And so by me doing that, it shows, it reflects on the product, it reflects on what I'm doing. I invested in a quality mic because I felt if people are out there listening to me, I want them to hear me the best they can. So I invest in the mic. I invest in a quality camera so that so my camera doesn't be all fuzzy, because they're giving me something very precious, which is their time. So since they're giving me their time, I I need to make sure that they're getting the best quality from me as well.
That's awesome. And you can feel in when you do that, I mean, people see that you are all in and that this matters to you, and that the people are attracted to that kind of confidence. uh People want that. They want to listen, they want to see how you got there. And so I love that. I love that.
Like my first episode was probably 7 minutes long, if that. Can't even remember. It didn't have a description. It didn't have a title. It didn't have anything. I just uploaded it just to finally just say I did it. And as time went on, I've learned about filling in the descriptions, putting in the proper title, creating thumbnails, and all these different things that I had no clue. And once I started doing those things and learning about that, of course things started improving. Um, because people could see that, okay, this is where he started at. Look where he's at now. He does care about what he's doing. He it matters to him how he improves and what he's doing. And so for me, it was like easy. There was a no doubt in my brain that I wanted to continue to do this, because once I started receiving feedback from people, and I was receiving emails and messages from people saying, "Hey, I needed to hear this episode. Thank you very much. I was on a fence on something, and listening to you and your guests made me decide to go in this direction." And it's those messages that I cherish. Those are the ones I love to read, because if I can help one person, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And because it's like a ripple effect. I help one person, they go and help. How many people would they go and help? And so I love this, and I love the fact that I'm making an impact. And I tell people, like, when I started my podcast, I was 44 years old. I didn't have a purpose in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And once I started my podcast and I started interviewing people and I started just helping people share their stories so that other people out there can hear it and everything, it became obvious this is what I was meant to do. This right here, this was my purpose, is to help deliver these messages from other people that are just regular folk. They're regular people that just have a story to share and are doing amazing things out there to help other people. And that's what I want to continue to do, is be able to help others.
I love that. I think when we have a purpose that is about connecting with others and helping others, and I really believe we're here to love one another. And so that is just so beautiful because I can tell that you get so much out of doing just that, is being a part of other people's lives. And I know that those limiting beliefs that I had about no one's really there for me, I have to do it by myself, or no, I can't trust anybody, like those hurt me, and those kept me stuck and isolated. And the relationships that I have today are connected, they are respectful, they're loving, and it goes back and forth. Like, most of us need to learn how to give and receive,
Mhm.
most of us get stuck in either the taking, or giving too much, and we don't know how to receive
Yeah.
or take,
Yeah,
because
no,
we're so used to doing and giving. And
yeah.
so there's a balance. You're
Mhm.
supposed to have both. That's what a relationship is. And I was thinking of relationships and people, like, we're surrounded around people. We have people around us, whether they're close or just on the street or in the supermarket. Like, there are people all around, and I think especially with the pandemic, it limited us when we had masks on and we weren't talking to each other, and we were even afraid of each other, because you might give me, you know COVID and make me sick, and then I might die or my loved one would die. And so there was this like huge fear.
Mhm.
And so now, it's a lot of us need to be reminded that connection is really the answer to all this anxiety, all this depression, all these sleep aids that are needed. It That's usually from anxiety,
Mhm.
because we aren't reaching out to one another. We're and if we were susceptible to isolating or not sharing, COVID just kind of like enabled us to
It,
like
it has it has
be
its
who
pros.
we are,
It has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
One of the pros is the fact that it got me to start my podcast, and actually, um, I've been able, with the way happened, everything, people were forced to start communicating through Zoom and StreamYard and all these different platforms. So for me, it's allowed me to connect with people all around the world. I've interviewed people from China, Taiwan, Australia, the Middle East, India, all over the world, and so that was one of the things that that's one of the pros from it, was be able to connect with people all around the world, and realize that we all want the same thing in life. We all just want to be happy, want to be healthy, we want to be successful, we want our families to be well, and it's just been, um for me personally, it's been a blessing to be able to connect and meet so many different people. Like, I've built relationships with people that I haven't met in person yet, and they're some of my closest friends. Like, these are people I communicate with every day, and have a relationship, and have built a relationship with these people, and we haven't met physically. Like, I've met some through the last couple of years, going to events, going to Podfest and all these different events. And actually, at the end of this month, I'm driving to Pittsburgh, and I'm hosting a 2-day event for International Podcast Day, and I get to connect with two people that I've been friends with for the last couple of years that I met through podcasting. That they'll be the first time we actually get to meet face to face, and they've become very good friends of mine. And so, yes, the pandemic had its hardships, but then it also had things that have helped me personally, because I've lost quite a few people. I lost some dear friends to COVID and stuff like that. But then I've also been able to build up relationships because of because of the the way we had to go and connect through Zoom and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I really do believe that all things happen for good, not by mistake. And that there really is, like you said, we might not always understand why things happen, but everything can work to our good. Even when things hurt, that is an opportunity to continue to grow. And like you said, you more was revealed and opportunities for you to connect with people. And that's really what it is. Like, we need each other. I really believe that. And so if anyone is having difficulty in a relationship, please have hope, because there are skill sets and tools that you can uncover. And if you can just have the hope that there is a solution, you know, I know that the universe, I know that God, I know that the right resources will come to you if you're open and if you're humble enough to ask, because there is so much hope in the world. There really is. And there are people that care. And, you know, it really is just being able to speak up. No one knows if you don't say you're hungry, if you don't say you need help, you're gonna go on starving. So please, don't do it by yourself. There's always people there that care. And I'm so grateful to Will, because he, like you said, he's connecting throughout the world to bring a message and to connect. So I just love that.
Thank you. I just I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing what you do. It's important that people see that there's hope out there. There's people out there doing things that are positive, that are out there wanting to help people, and not just not help. It- it's especially now, like in 2020 we had the elections and all the negative stuff that comes with it. Now we're back into another election cycle, and we're very divided because of red and blue and all this other nonsense. And it's crazy that we shouldn't be that way. It's we all want the same things in life. We all want to be happy. We all want our families to be healthy. We want these. We're all just the same. And so when I said I just want to focus on delivering positive messages, that's what I want. I want to create content that is going to uplift people. I don't want to create content that's going to divide us, that's going to have us arguing. No, I don't. There's enough people that create content that way. My content is to help and uplift and have people come on and share their message, and hopefully someone out there can listen to your story and listen to what you're doing and be like, oh man, that was me. That's me right now. What did they do to turn their life around? Oh man, that's amazing. And so to have that and have that go out there and people take something from whatever message we deliver or whatever message they take from what we're saying, that's all that matters to me.
That's beautiful. I really appreciate what you're doing in the world.
But now it comes to the time where you get the solo screen and you get to plug away, let everybody know where they can find you, web page, website, everything.
Awesome. Well, if you have a relationship problem, I would love to hear about it. www.happyjoyousandfree.org is where I have my website and a way for you to make a free consult with me. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear your problems and your troubles. And if you're willing to ask for help, I am absolutely willing to give a perspective, point you in the right direction for absolutely free. I am committed to helping and doing what I can to open the minds of those that feel stuck. So you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. I do hope to talk to you. And again, I love problem solving. So if you have a problem, let's talk about it.
Awesome. Thank you once again for being a guest. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time. But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and we can chat a little bit off the air. But thank you so much, man. This is a great episode. I appreciate you coming on and sharing what you do and how you can help people.
Thank you. What an honor it was to be a part of such an amazing podcast. Stuck in my mind. Absolutely love it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Another episode is in the books. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bells so you get the new episodes. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady. I appreciate you. I know we be having our our ups and downs, but I truly do appreciate what you do for me. Big shout out to our guest, Melanie Yates, for coming through and sharing her story and sharing all the amazing things she's doing out there. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.